Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Walt Morgan, transformational leadership coach, and he partners with clients from all walks of life to achieve the personal and professional development goals that are most important to them. Welcome to the show, Walt.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this. I enjoy your show, and also thank you just for your curiosity and your invitation to be a part of this conversation. It's great to be here.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this digital format. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people will uh, get to know more about leadership. We'll be talking about redefining leadership. And so this is the time when a lot of people are looking at the leadership crisis, as people say it. And you will be able to look at, both sides because you have been in the US Navy for 23 years as a helicopter pilot. So you can give us a bird's eye view as well as a view from the ground. And so that is where, and you yourself has been at the rank of commander. Uh, that's the position you retired at. So let's understand about leadership from you, Walt. My first question is to understand firstly itself is that you are a transformational leadership coach. What is this transformational leadership coach all about?
Oh, what a great question. What a great place to start. So each of us has carries a number of belief systems. Just we get through our lives with this if then construct in many dimensions and channels of our life, and a lot of the time those if thens serve us and they help us and they allow us to be successful, and sometimes those if thens get in our way and they make us feel stuck, whether it's at work, in relationships, in our sense of fulfillment or completion. There's something getting in the way. So I frame that as a way of being. Like a way of being is a belief system that creates behaviors that are sometimes productive for us, sometimes limiting, and then there's a specific way of checking also. How am I being successful? Like, how do I know if I'm being successful? And that creates a loop, this belief, this behavior, this way of checking. So, as a transformational coach, I help my clients see their way of being. I help them illuminate it, to build a relationship with it, to understand it. And then we work together to transcend it so that they create a new way of being that serves them better. And the best parts of their current way of being get pulled up so that new belief system still allows them to be wonderful in the ways that they've always been wonderful and productive and fulfilled and good in relationships and all that. But it lifts the ceiling in a transformational way that allows them to feel unstuck and create greater impact in a way that feels really important to them.
Right, Walt. Right. Well explained. Now let me ask you this way. These are times of, people are questioning the type of leadership in almost every sphere of our lives that we have, be it political, business, or any other, especially in the business line. If you see, there are a lot of questions about, the type of leadership. And there is a whole lot of discussion about toxic workplaces, this great resignation, quiet quitting, and all these things are still going on. And those discussions are looking at. We are all trying to look at. Let me understand for the audience from you is that in today's time, people look at designations and they consider that okay, this is my leader, or they say that this is your leader, and then you look at things in that way. You come from a very structured background, in the military background, Navy, where there is a leadership. they are coming through a different level of training, and then they take care of their team. When you look at outside world, which is not very structured, a lot of people, just because they have got some money, they have raised their funds, they become CEO, they become any particular position holder, founders, and they think that they are leaders.
Right.
How do you how do you look at leadership in today's time? Because you talk about redefining leadership to save our species. Otherwise, that is a big statement to make. So I want to
Yeah.
understand, why do you think so we have reached to this level? Help us understand this gamut of position, designation, and leadership in the real sense, because it is the question of our species now. So help us answer several things at the same time, Walt, so that you can answer both. All are so interrelated, so that you can all answer them at your own pace.
Yeah, no, that's a really thoughtful question because what I hear you doing is setting up how as a society, how in a workplace, how in this world we we view leadership and how sometimes our ideas of leadership and maybe management, which can be very distinct things, how they merge. So I would say one that my personal definition of leadership is constantly evolving. Like every 2 or 3 years, um, I create a new definition just because I've moved into a new relationship with leadership. So I'm very, um, I guess, compassionate around where anybody is in their relationship with leadership. The invitation is to continue to grow in our understanding of leadership and who we are as a leader and how we identify as a leader. Um, and we're all in different places. And that's okay to a point, right? It's okay. Just actually yesterday afternoon. So I teach a class at the university, and yesterday afternoon, our class did an exercise where we created, or where the students created, their class definition of leadership. It was a beautiful definition. It was a beautiful dialogue, and it was a beautiful process. Their definition's not what my definition is, but that's okay. That's where they are. And my hope is that that continues to evolve throughout our class for the next 5 months and then throughout their lives. I will share, if it's okay, my current definition of leadership, which is the process of turning our best intentions into impact. That's what I believe leadership is. And if you'll notice, there's no designated position in there. There's no necessarily even designated team. It's just this process through our lives of really connecting and being aware of what our best intentions are, and then being very intentional about I have a friend in here. I apologize for that.
Okay.
And being very intentional about how am I going to make impact with this. It's going to be work, it's going to be relationships, it's going to be how I show up, it's going to be always constantly improving myself. But leadership is our best intentions turn to impact, I believe. So you asked some more like species level questions as well. um, my feeling is, and this is coming from a very, I would say, American centric perspective, um, that we have inherited centuries, centuries of flawed understanding of leadership. That doesn't mean that there haven't been just powerful, beautiful, great, amazing leaders that show up in our everyday lives, in our families, in our communities, nationally, globally. They are there, right? And we have seen them and we've witnessed them and we've benefited from them. There have always been these great inspirational leaders, I believe. what I think of is this idea of collective leadership capacity, right? Until we, as a species, or as you know, and culturally specific to each of our own cultures, until we kind of raise a couple of notches how we all view leadership, so it's not this toxic dominance, control, designated leader follower idea for the purpose of only making money, only winning, only, whatever it is. But if it's a broader perspective of impact that's more deeply connected, more aware of our connection as to each other as humans, as well as to our planet and to other species, until we can just kind of raise it a couple of notches, how we view and appreciate leadership, I believe we're just repeating destructive cycles that we've inherited for centuries. And it, to a point, has served us. I'm not, suggesting that we return to our hunter-gatherer ways of 70,000 years ago. That's not the intent. The intent is that leadership becomes something bigger than than command and control for not just a few people, but for more people, for all of us. So that becomes assumed. Um, I think that there's some inflection points in our species existence. Um, I can only imagine being alive in 1917, when plagues and war covered the planet, and we had to have thought, humans had to have thought, this is the end of times, this is it. Um, and we made it through that. This feels like another inflection point. It feels like an inflection point, you know, for how we adapt technologically, because I think there's some powerful technological things that are about to happen for us, and I'm hopeful. Um, I'm hopeful that they enhance our planet and our species, and I feel like we're ill prepared for them. But also, environmentally, with a lens of sustainability, this feels like a really dangerous time. And I believe not just a few individuals emerging as leaders, but everybody emerging as leaders, creating impact through their best intentions, is what's required at this time.
Right, right, Walt. Well explained. Now let's look at it this way. When we talk about problems in leadership, especially in the business leadership, then we talk about toxicity at workplaces and all the other problems associated with it. And then we want to change the world and we
Yeah.
want to redefine leadership. But when we redefine leadership, then we talk about someone who thinks about good intentions, good impact, and then we think about this is the language a lot of political leaders speak, but they
Mm,
never do.
right.
How do you? So you see, the
Yes.
utopia that you think or the real ideal that you think exists, but it exists in a very virtual form. People just talk about it, even though in positions of power, but never get down to doing it. That is why even global forums fail. The UN has almost failed. People see it is not representing the planet or all the countries of the world, that is only speaking about powerful places. Even in corporate, you see only a few corporates are leading the
Mhm.
world, and they are leading the way we are going to move forward as humanity in terms of technology, in terms of artificial intelligence. So how do we redefine with the real and virtual in these present times, all in their way convoluted, diluted, and in a very bad state of affairs? It has to be some third way of looking at the leadership at present. How do you see this? Someone who has seen leadership, because a lot of people who come to you for coaching, for their understanding, you can may actually know whether these are genuine leaders or they are just there trying to reposition themselves and maybe learn something from you because you know about it. Help us understand, how do we redefine leadership in present times with the way things are, with the ingredients we have in hand?
Yeah. So um, the leader, the so-called, the political leaders or corporate leaders to whom you refer have also inherited um, centuries of a misguided, or I would say incomplete, understanding of what leadership is, and they're products of that as well. And I appreciate your question, because it's like, yes, on some sort of cognitive headspace level, we understand that leadership should be more, that it should be more um, connected. It shouldn't just be responsive to the stockholder, and that it shouldn't just be responsive to a fringe of voters through, populism and pedagogy, right? Like, we cognitively understand that, yet we still step into the same old patterns and elect the same leaders and empower the same corporate entities, and only think of the shareholder, right, and the money. So that's such a good question, because that's also an individual journey, right? So if you look at the individual level, if you look at my clients, they come in and, like, yes, in my head, cognitively, I understand that I want to be better in this way. I want to be less um, driven by money. I want to be able to establish firmer boundaries when I just give all my time away. I want to be more available for my family. I want to create warmer relationships. Every single client has a topic. They come to me with a topic that says, this is sitting with me very powerfully. I would like to be better in this way. And on a one-on-one level, in about 6 months, they're able to achieve that, right? They're better able to, you know, um, separate their sense of value from what they earn. They're better able to feel their own worth without having to receive that externally from other. Whatever their topic is, they achieve that. So that's only one on one. And now we're talking about an entire species, which is really why I'm here today. I don't think I have ever had a client, and by the way, I don't tell my clients things. I'm a partner in exploration of their truth, and an advocate for their growth. And I do, create structure around our programs, but I'm not telling them anything. They're discovering things as they explore. And they initially know these things, but over the course of coaching, it moves down into their bodies. So it's no longer a cognitive exercise, it becomes embodied. What they believe becomes really true in their hearts and bodies. So that is, I guess, a call to action for coaching. And I'm not selling myself as a coach. What I'm saying is, through coaching, we get better at these things. We don't, you know, even if at the source of a client's initial desire is to make more money, right? Like, I want to better be able to create stronger partnerships with others so that I can make more money, right? By the end of that 6 months, they are creating stronger relationships, but they've also expanded um, their hearts in such a way that it's no longer really about making money. It's about something more powerful. So, coaching coaching relationships at scale, more people investing in coaching. Businesses, so the research is really clear around the impact of coaching on business. Like businesses do better in that kind of stockholder sort of way when businesses invest in coaching. So they do invest in coaching. But the businesses that invest in coaching, these are the ones that I love to work with. This is what I love is when the business says, we're just investing in this person. We know that there'll be a return on investment for us, but we're investing in them. So you guys just have your coaching relationship. We're not going to tell you what we want them to do better. We're not asking you to fix a person. We're just creating space for you and a client with faith that they will grow, they will be better, we will all be better. And I think the more businesses that do that are willing to invest in people in that way, yeah, there's going to be an ROI, right? There will be, but there's going to be something more. Even if that individual leaves, like even if during a coaching program that individual says, look, I've grown in a way that this no longer feels like the right place for me, it's still an investment in a person and an investment in something bigger. And the business will benefit and we'll all benefit. So I think that's my answer. Coach more coaching, you know, I'm not saying from me, but from not like, and not from like the business coach, like I'm going to turn your profit, sharpen your sword kind of coach, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a coach that can really advance a human in an embodied, powerful way. That was a lengthy answer to a lengthy question. Did that get to the heart of it a little bit, Ajay?
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you this way: the whole uh, thing is that a lot of people do not get that idea for change. Maybe when you are in powerful positions, you don't want to change there. You are very
Yeah.
comfortable there. In your case, for example, you were in the Navy, helicopter pilot, and you always wanted to fly
Hmm.
till you got that that assignment as a professor, a teaching assignment at University of Colorado. And that is where it's almost like the universe nudged you into something new, something great.
Hmm.
When a person like you, you are very fortunate the universe could do that, you could understand it.
Hmm.
In a lot of leadership positions, people almost several times kill their conscience for
Yes.
profit, for whatever reasons, for being in the position, being in power, they do whatnot. Do you think the universe or God will come down and nudge them? Or do you think they have time? They will realize it on themselves, or will it be too late and it will be the end of all? And that we will all bear the consequences of some bad decisions of some people who control almost the whole of this planet.
Yeah. So it feels like a bit of a crossroads, doesn't it? Right? Can we achieve can we achieve shared leadership capacity in time to save the species? And I don't know, but I'll say this. If this guy right here can have an awakening, this knucklehead Navy pilot that was in it for fun and just going out and doing his thing in a very kind of limited, narrow focus. If this guy can feel nudged, if this guy can awaken to something that's more deeply connected and powerful that the universe has offered to him, then anybody can. We all can. The question is, will we or won't we? And I'm hopeful. But here's something that's on my mind. I think about the impact I could have made if I had created that awareness at a younger age. And so I feel like it's really critical to coach younger people or to assist them in this in this universe is visiting me in a whole new way right now. Um, so a lot of my clients are like in their 40s and 50s, and they've achieved this place in the C-suite, or they're a senior vice president or a vice president, and they're feeling stuck for any number of reasons. So the investment comes at age 45. So I started a program at the University of Colorado for coaching college students. And in fact, this year we will provide, it got funded, and we'll provide professional leadership coaching for 60 students. And I teach a leadership class, and others are teaching these leadership classes in this mindset. We're not going to tell you what leadership is. We're going to create a space to explore your truth, to explore who you are as a leader, to explore what your best intentions are, and then to establish plans to identify as a leader capable of making impact, and then to begin to imagine how you can better make impact, right? So I'm really focused on investing in younger people, because by the time, I'm 53 years old. Like, I have had the imposition of life and expectations, and my Navy existence and my corporate existence all kind of sitting on me, and I carry that with me. That makes me a little bit more rigid. But when I coach young people, when I coach 22-year-olds, oh, they are so open and available, and they make these like really powerful strides in their leadership identity and their capabilities just so quickly. And so I believe part of the answer to the question you ask is changing our collective leadership capacity begins by starting younger. Again, it's almost like investing in stocks, right? Like, if we do it earlier, then longitudinally we have far better gains. And similarly, if we invest in our leadership earlier, longitudinally we have far greater impact, is what I believe.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is much to learn about leadership, and all I understand is that it is time that we redefine the way we look at leadership. So, those people who want to understand more about leadership from you, those people who want to be coached from you, by you, what's the best way for them to connect with you, Walt?
Yes. So let me speak to all coaches first, right? I invite anyone in your audience to seek out coaching. I hire coaches, right? Because I know the powerful shift that we can make in coaching. I can be better and make more impact through the coaching programs. So first off, it doesn't have to be me, right? I invite anyone to find a coach. Like, look at where you're investing your money, and I really feel that the best place that we can invest our time and money is through coaching, so that we can expand our own capabilities in important ways, be better leaders, and make better impact. So that's not just me. If you want to reach out to me, so I have a very low social media presence, right? I'm mostly referral based, but I do have a website, and that website has a contact form. So that website is tliftcoaching .com. So the letter T, Tango, LIFT, coaching, COACHING, tliftcoaching.com. You can find me there. And if you'd like to reach out, I'd love to have a conversation with you about leadership. If you're interested in coaching, we can talk about what feels most important to you and how I can help you on that journey to make your greatest impact in this world. And that is why I exist, and that is how I serve.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will certainly also put out all your details into the YouTube description, the show notes description, so that people are able to connect with you much more quicker, so that they can invest in themselves and in a way invest in the future of the planet. On this note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this conversation. It's such a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you again for your time, and thank you to your audience as well.